Do you know the difference between someone who's financially independent and somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck? Most people spend their money. The financially independent send their money into battle. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the concept of baby money soldiers. We talked about them last week. If you missed that episode, go back to last week. A baby money soldier is any dollar that comes into your life. And by the use and the control of that dollar, you become financially independent. Hello and welcome. My name is Gino Barbaro, one of the co-founders of Barbaro 360 and Jake and Gino. And there are three things we're going to be talking about today. How many? Three. We're going to be talking about expanding your army, deploying your army, and the third one is protecting. Expand, deploy, protect. Rinse, repeat. Say that again with me. Expand, deploy, and protect. People often say, that just sounds so simple. Is it that easy to become financially independent? It's simple, but it isn't easy because we aren't taught these rules. And today, I really want to break down how you get your baby money soldiers into battle. What does that even mean? And how you deploy them. And ultimately, as you start making them, you need to protect them. That's so important when you're becoming financially independent in life. So for us, my dad told me, Gino, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And that is an important mantra of the baby money soldier financial independence. That idea of you're making these baby money soldiers and you're redeploying them. You're not only just trying to chase yield, what gives you the highest rate of return, but there are certain investments, certain assets you buy that will allow you to keep more of your baby money soldiers, that give you tax advantages. So let's first talk about actually going out there and deploying or expanding your army. I'm going to give you a few ideas. I want you to write these down because these are important. They'll start jogging your memory. It'll give you an idea of things to think about. Oh, I never thought of it from that perspective. First one, invest in an asset that produces cash flow. Now, my very first asset that I invested in, I'll never forget it. For me, I had already owned the restaurant. Now, that was a business and that was producing cash flow, but an asset that I had bought while I was working at the restaurant, I had bought a fourplex with my brother. That was the first asset. I was just so proud of myself. That's something where I'm not working every day. I'm putting my money there. I'm deploying some of my baby money soldiers, putting them into that house. And that house is producing baby money soldiers. So that's what I want you to think of. What's something that you can do right now where you can go buy an asset that starts producing cash flow? That asset can be any kind of it. Can it be a single family home? Can it be a self-storage facility? Can it be a mobile home park? What kind of asset? Maybe it's an asset like a stock that produces a dividend yield. Think of something that produces yield. Now, buy an existing business. That's the next one. Have you ever thought about buying a business that's already up and running? You drive down the street every day, passing strip malls, passing shopping centers. Did you ever stop and wonder, wow, there's a Subway franchise right there. I wonder who owns that. That's somebody there who has his baby money soldiers or her baby money soldiers invested in that Subway franchise. Most likely, he or she is not working there. He or she is utilizing the employees there to be able to create more baby money soldiers. Franchising is a great model to be able to open up a franchise and to start investing in an already existing business. If not, go out and find a business that's for sale. Start investing in a business that's for sale. The next one, I love this one because it's all about the side hustles. That wasn't a thing when I started investing. It was like we called it a second job. Now today it's a lot of marketing. You want to call it a second job, want to call it a side hustle, whatever it is. But think about it as your primary source of income, and this is something you're doing on the side. And that's what I called my real estate when I first started. It was a side hustle. It's something that I did on the side. It's something that I thought, wow, this is not going to support me today, but hopefully one day this will support me. This will actually get me out of my regular small business that I had. And this side hustle is going to create a ton of baby money soldiers. That's what the goal was for me. Open an Amazon store. My son Michael, right now, He's creating a product called Cucina Crochet. Let me say that again for you. It's Cucina Crochet. It's a little crochet kit. He actually designed the entire thing. It's really cool. Now, I'm not into crochet, but when I saw it, I'm like, this is awesome. This is something where you're creating a product. He's going to list it on Amazon. He created his Amazon store. It's a side hustle. He's going to make a few bucks on the side. If it goes well, he'll buy more product, deploy more baby money soldiers into that product, and start printing and selling and creating more baby money soldiers. Think about that, an Amazon store. What about managing vacation rentals? Vacation rentals was all the rage. Do you know that they make 20% of the revenue of a vacation rental? So if you are renting a vacation rental for $300 a night, you're the owner. The owner is the one that's making a significant amount of money, hopefully, if they're running it properly. But they rent it for $300 a night. You're the manager here. You're managing it. Did you know that they generate up to 20%? They charge $60 to manage that one vacation rental. Doesn't seem like a lot, but let's say you got 10 or 15 of those rentals. 10 times 60, a lot of money. How much is that? Probably $600 just for managing 10 vacation rentals. You're doing that on the side. You're creating baby money soldiers by doing that on the side. Next one. I heard this a couple of years ago. I still don't know if it's a thing, but I had a gentleman who was part of the Jake and Gino community. That's the educational community that I used to have, that we taught people about multifamily. We were really, a lot of people who joined were entrepreneurs, just business owners. This guy had a car. He rented cars on a platform called Turo, Turo. I'm sure it's still out there. He rented Porsches. I'm like, why Porsches? He's like, Porsches can get me $600-700 a day in LA. Could you imagine renting your car out for $600 to $700 a day? People fly into LA. They want to look hip. They want to look cool. His car payment was probably $1,000 a month for that car, but he was making more in 2 days to substantiate that car payment. Everything else he made for the rest of the month was pure profit. These are all little side hustles. These are ways that you're taking your baby money soldiers, putting them into the side hustle, and this side hustle is creating a significant amount of revenue. Short-term stock trading. Why not learn how to become a stock trader? Do it short-term. Day trading. Boom. There are a lot of people out there that have gotten into it. Now, I don't want you to get into any of the side hustles without getting into the education aspect of it. It's really important that you understand what you're doing, because if you don't, you're going to send your baby money soldiers into battle. And then what happens? Gone. You don't want that to happen. One of the aspects of protecting them is making sure that you know how to utilize them. You're looking at the terrain. If you're looking at it from the battlefield, you're the general here. You're sitting here, and you're going to deploy them into a side hustle. Side hustle's there. Well, how do I get this from point A to point B? As quickly as possible, as safely as possible, without not losing many, with having enough of a supply line there. I mean, education comes into this, or learning, understanding comes into this. And it's the same thing when you're going into a side hustle. You need to learn all these different side hustles and choose one that really gravitates to you, that speaks to you. Now, this last one really falls into something that we love to talk about on the show. It's about real estate. One of the best side hustles is fixing and flipping homes. Now, it's a good side hustle, but it will not ultimately create the baby money soldier procreation that we talk about. Let me share why, because this is really important. You buy a home, you put your baby money soldiers into that home. You're fixing that home up, right? You want to get it and sell it for a higher price. So let's say, for argument's sake, you bought this home for $300,000. You ended up spending another $50,000 of your baby money soldiers' hard-earned money, fixing it up, changing the floors, painting, bringing it up, as like what we like to say, bringing it up to snuff. Looks really nice. All of a sudden, it took you 3 months of hard work. You're ready to list it. You're going to list it for $425,000, and you sell it for $420,000. But you have commissions, closing costs, hard costs. Well, let's say you've generated profit, a net profit of $40,000. That's great. You have those baby money soldiers there. If that's short term, what happens? Taxes take part of that. But it's still a great start, because you've just generated and created $40,000 worth of baby money soldiers. You had $300,000 that you started out with. You've got another 40 here. Well, now you've got $340,000. Let's buy another fix and flip and do that again and continue to expand your army. That's what it looks like with creating a side hustle. And that's what it looks like with expanding your baby money soldiers. Now, let's take a quick time out to hear from our sponsors. We're going to start talking about deploying and protecting them when we come back. I want to take a moment to tell you about Wheelbarrow Profits. Here's why I think it's worth your attention. Vince Gethings started with a zero down VA loan back in 2013. He lived in a house, he renovated it, he netted $130,000. Then he went all in. He purchased 20 units from Hawaii. He scaled it to over 800 units, launched 6 businesses, and built the entire portfolio with a mile deep focus on Dallas-Fort Worth. He is not someone selling a dream from the sidelines. He is an operator who is instilled the seat every day. And the program he leads, Wheelbarrow Profits, has helped students close over $5 billion in multifamily deals across more than 90,000 units. If you've been thinking about how to go from consuming content to actually building a portfolio, go to wheelbarrowprofits.com and take a look at what they've put together. And we are back. Now, we've been talking about deploying and putting your soldiers out there and putting them in harm's way and risking your money. But now we have to start talking about a little bit about protecting them. And what do we need to do when we want to actually shield them from taxes? Well, there's something that we call refinance and roll. If you've never heard of that, it's a really cool strategy. You buy a property. The property goes up in value. You actually go to the bank and say, hey, I bought this property for X. Now it's worth Y because I've done all of this work. I've invested in it. The rents have gone up. The expenses may have gone down, but I'm generating more money. It's worth more. The bank's going to say, okay, your loan was this much. I'm going to give you a new loan. You're able to refinance the loan, take a new loan on the property, and you're going to get more baby money soldiers. But what's beautiful about that strategy is not only are you generating more revenue, you're taking money out of the property, you're extracting that hard-earned equity out of the property, and you're putting more soldiers into your army. You're creating more soldiers. You are actually creating a taxable advantage for yourself because the bank and the government sees that as a loan to yourself. So you're not paying taxes on that refinance. If your property was bought at $300,000, and let's say you have a $300,000 loan, and the bank is willing to give you a $400,000 loan now because you did such a good job, you're able to take $100,000 of equity out of that property. You just created $100,000 out of thin air. But what's even better is that you're able to keep that $100,000 because it's typically considered a loan to yourself until you sell the property. That's when you have to pay taxes on that money. But right then and there, you've got all $100,000 instead of, if you had to generally pay between 20 and 30% on taxes, you'd only have 80,000. So your army grew, but not only did it grow, you're able to keep it all intact. That's the power of being able to tax plan and using efficient tax strategies with the rules of money. Now, this next one that we talk about is a 1031 strategy. Let's say you buy a property for $2 million. You've done a great job over the years, and now the property is worth $4 million. If you sold that without a 1031 exchange, you'd have to pay taxes on a $2 million profit. You would typically be killing $2 million, 20% or 30% of your $2 million, you'd be killing about $600,000 worth of baby money soldiers. Wait, you don't want to do that. What you do is you do a 1031 exchange. You go out and you find another property that is like exchange. You're going to find another piece of real estate that's worth at least $4 million. When you sell your property, you're going to roll all of those baby money soldiers right into the new property. You're deferring taxes. You're keeping those $600,000 and you're putting them into the new property. Now, some of you out there may be saying, is that too good to be true? Do you think it's too good to be true? I thought it was until we executed one. And I was like, this is incredible. Not only did I grow my army of baby money soldiers, I was able to deploy them into a new property, into a new project, but I was also able to keep all of them without having to send any to the government. They're all mine. And you can keep doing that, selling them with a 1031 exchange and continuing to defer taxes. Now, ultimately, at some point, you probably will have to pay taxes. But can you imagine the amount and the number of baby money soldiers that you've created over the next 10 or 15 years by deferring and not paying those taxes? Your army is going to grow exponentially, and you're able to send more of them out and more of them out and have them to conquer more properties. That's the power. Now, this last strategy is more about protecting them. And I can't go into it at all in this show. I'm going to hit the next show up because this is really important, the protection of them. One thing I'd like you to think of as you're the general of your army and you're creating your financial battlefield and you're planning your next strategic move of where you're going to send them, you need to protect them. One way we do that is by using entities, by using asset protection, something called a limited liability company. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you advice. But what I'd like you to do when you do get off this recording and you stop listening, I want you to just Google LLC, Google asset protection. If you need somebody, a recommendation, I can send you over to the gentleman we use. Just email me, Gino@jakeandgino.com, and I'll just make that introduction. You need to be able to protect them. You're growing something amazing here. You're nurturing your army. You're working really hard. You're following all the rules. This is one rule that a lot of baby money soldier experts, a lot of generals avoid, or they just are a little careless, or they just don't plan. I want you to really think about planning for them. And while you're planning for that protection, I want you to think about the legacy that you're building with this army of baby money soldiers. Legacy is not something that you leave behind. You're not leaving all these baby money soldiers behind to your family. What you're doing is you're activating something right now. It's not something that's left behind. It's something that's activated right now as you're creating your battlefield, as you're protecting them. That's something truly important that I think most people who understand they become financially independent, they have a duty and a responsibility to foster this legacy into the next generation. So as you're preparing this, you're the general, you've got to communicate to your family members and to everybody in your party, everyone that you know, well, here are the battle plans. I need to start talking to them. I need to start sharing with them what's going on. I need to share with them what assets we have, what assets we're deploying, what assets we're trying to protect, what assets we're trying to grow. It's important as the general, you start laying those plans now. And that's why estate planning is so important. Another way to protect and to grow that army of baby money soldiers. As we start wrapping this up, I want you to really just sit there and ponder what we've talked about, creating the side hustle, being able to deploy them, being able to keep as many baby money soldiers as possible, and then ultimately being able to protect your baby money soldiers. Money, like any other game, has rules. And to me, it's been an honor and a privilege to share these rules with you because that's how I've been able to become financially independent and to be able to create and grow my baby money soldiers, not just for myself, but for perpetuating them and to share them with the next generation. So I want to thank you for taking the time out today and for listening about the story of baby money soldiers. My name is Gino Barbaro, co-founder of Barbaro 360, and I'll see you on next week's episode.